This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello Virgo and Virgo rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Gemini, happening on the 30th of May. Now, this is going to be a nice reprieve from some of the fits and starts and hectic short-circuiting that may have been going on. I think that Scorpio, from the top of my head, it was in your third house of communication, all the changes that occurred like a bolt out of the blue around you in the way that you communicate with the village, with your brothers and sisters, your neighbours, whoever it might have been. There was a real letting go happening. We can put some of that intensity down for the minute, and we have got a nice, normal, regular new moon to manifest with. So there's going to be no moon in the sky. We can use the energy that's on the earth at the moment to create what we might like to see happen in the future. This is really an exciting time for you, Virgo, because Gemini rules your 10th house, which is your career and the way that you're publicly perceived, your most public face. This is a great moment to start a new year fresh. Think of it as like a New Year's Eve party for that part of your life. Gemini rules your public zone, which is why you're such a great communicator, which is why you use your Gemini traits, your sort of chatty Cathy talkativity to regulate and to work through. And that's why you're kind of known for that too. You might have people coming and bending your ear for a tick time and time again. That actually could be related to your career. There could be something in there. There could be something about working through the many different versions of the truth or counseling or something like that. We'll get into that a bit later because I wanted to talk to you about some of the maybe slightly potentially annoying, difficult aspects that are happening with the planets, but then counterbalance that with some positive stuff too. So right now, Saturn is still at 25 degrees in Aquarius, and Saturn is our planet of restriction and the rule book and all that kind of stuff, sometimes in a low vibration, the gag order. So Aquarius, 6th house for you, the day-to-day, there might be you might be feeling bound. There's certain rules and regulations that you have to sort of move with that are kind of holding you back. You'd sort of prefer to expand, but you can't at the moment. Saturn has also formed a square with Mercury at 26 degrees in Taurus, and Mercury is retrograde at the moment. So there might be some short-circuiting of communication. There might be misunderstandings, or there might be a version of the truth that's come to you that just feels off. You may be trying to express yourself and it's not coming off the way that you thought that it would come off. All of that. So keep that in mind as we move through this reading. That's just happening. It's happening to everyone, and it's okay. We can ride out the storm. The new moon will happen at 9 degrees in Gemini. Now, the tarot card that lines up with that degree is the 8 of Swords. This does speak of a mental cage. It does talk about too many barbed truths or too many perspectives. There too many options maybe, or not enough options. That could be something too. It's a feeling of restriction in this card, of being bound, which is really echoing, I guess, this square that Saturn and Mercury are currently in. A new moon is potential though. A new moon is a moment where we can actively engage ourselves with what's going on and use our free will and co-create and call in what it is that we'd like to call in. So amidst all of that restriction and that harsh truth and all of that kind of stuff, I want you to call in what it is that you want to change or have happen or develop in your public life, in your career, your vocation. There's some really interesting positivity and helpfulness that's coming from Aries. So Jupiter is in a conjunction with Mars in Aries, and Jupiter, as we know, is like the supportive auntie of the zodiac. She's the one that's sort of like, yeah, go on, darling. Oh, I think that's perfect. Yeah, do more of that. She expands everything that she touches. Jupiter is doing that to Mars, which is the passion-driven planet. Mars is the one that gets everything done, that moves ahead, that strives forward with that fire. This is at 3 and 4 degrees of Aries. The tarot card for that point is the Two of Wands. So that's the action plan. The Two of Wands is also the classic Mars in Aries card. So this is perfect. This is lining up really beautifully with the way that the ancients used to relate the tarot to the sky, or the way that the ancients wrote the tarot for the sky. This little activation is in a gentle, supportive aspect with the moon. So use passion, use drive, use expansion as tools in your manifestation for what you'd like to see have happen in your career. This is interesting. Aries rules your 8th house, which is the house of regeneration, of death, of rebirth, of complete transformation. So I wonder what's in there for us to talk about. I wonder if there's something related to your natural ability to deal with the changes, to deal with the punches, to roll with them. I wonder if there's something in that part of your life that can be transposed and sort of used in your career. Maybe it's a change of career path. Maybe there's something, like I'm thinking like counselor, midwife, death doula, something about the really deep nitty gritty of emotions that we all deal with, that you're so adept at and so Aries about. You can really face this stuff head on. So how can you use that skill in your career? How can you turn a corner and pick up some of this in sew it together with your public self? That's just one thought. Now, that's the planetary aspects in the sky. That's what's going on there. I've also pulled some tarot cards from a separate deck to give more of an intuitive reading, to see what messages are coming out that can relate to what we've discussed so far. Now, on the back of the deck, I got the Devil in reverse. This is a really interesting base note for our reading. This is actually something to be really proud of, Virgo, because the Devil upright is our habitual selves. It's what we rely on. It's the things that we do to ourselves that we know aren't good for us, but we can't help but get caught in that cycle. You know, it doesn't have to be things like drinking or smoking or drugs or whatever it is. It can be, but it can also be a negative, repetitive thought pattern. It can be the way that we perceive ourselves, the way that we limit ourselves. The Devil's in reverse, so that means that you've moved through from this. That means that there is something that you're really working with in that 8th house energy, that sort of regeneration that's really coming out for you. Mars and Jupiter are activating your ability to start again. It's really great. So we'll use that as the base. The other cards that I got for you are the 10 of Swords, the 3 of Cups in reverse, and the 5 of Swords. Now, something feels quite severe in this. There's an ending that's happened here really terribly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 swords in the back. You can't take any more. Too many hurts have happened in some capacity. It's a difficult, and there's a lot of black in this card too, you know. There is a heaviness that I'm getting here. But I also notice in the 10 of Swords is that the sun is rising over the horizon. No more pain can come from this situation. This cycle, whatever it is, has come to a close, and there's no more energy to give to this at this current time. The 3 of Cups in reverse makes me think of the shadow side of coming together in celebration, the shadow side of, and that could be like distraction. I'm getting a real sense of distraction here. Maybe there's been moments where the Devil was upright for you and you were distracting yourself from the difficulty of this really harsh, hurtful ending. That could be something here. The 5 of Swords is a battle with no winners. So in terms of fighting for the truth or fighting for righteousness, of protecting yourself with your battalion of, sharp barbs, there's no winners here in this battle. People have walked away. It's over, but there's no victor. So how can we relate this to a positive way to manifest? I think that this has got a lot to do with your ability to ride the rough seas, Virgo. You're really good at getting through it. That's what's really coming through for me here. No matter what is said to you, no matter how many times you've been hurt in the past, no matter how many times you have fallen vulnerable to the addiction of the devil. The devil isn't an outside energy. The devil is within us. It's our inner demons that have been faced here. This is really, if you've not thought about it before, I really think that there might be, and maybe I'm talking to counselors already, maybe you are one. You know, in that case, ding, 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 spot on. But there's something here. There's something here about your experience with the hard stuff that could really be put to benefit for your career. Maybe you could write about this, some of the things that you've been through. Maybe you could collate your experience to offer it to others for their healing. I like this one. Doesn't look like a very happy tarot spread, I'll be honest with you, but I think we've really come onto something with this. Well, new moon blessings, Virgs. Good on you. Bring it in, call it in. Think about, use this, this new moon in 10th is a great time just to really think about career and think about public self and what you wish to achieve for the year ahead. So go with it. And let some of what I've said, sort of rattle around in your brain when you're doing so. If you wanted to support the work, please head over to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. I am accepting tips currently. Other than that, I'll be with you again in 2 weeks to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. So we can discuss how we can, again, it's the moment of shedding and letting go and releasing, but as opposed to an eclipse, this is something that we have control over. This is something that we can call in and get rid of with our own power. Much love to you, new moon blessings. I'll speak to you later. Ta-da.